Welcome back to Mondays with Mom, the podcast where my mom, Leah,
Hi.
and I, Jo, dive into her stories, experiences, and the lessons she's hoping I finally take to heart. My mom has always dreamed of turning her life into a book or a movie, and this podcast is our way of making that dream come true one episode at a time. Right, Mom?
Right, Joey, and we have a fun time doing it.
Every time.
So, what got me thinking this time is because we're in Lent,
Uh-huh.
and I was thinking about how, as Greek Orthodox Christians, we fast for Lent, although it's not fasting in the traditional sense, like not eating.
Yeah.
What we actually do is we abstain from meat or animal products for a period. It's supposed to be 40 days,
Yeah.
but we've been cheated. It's actually 48 days.
Yeah, it's a long time.
It is a very long time. And the reason why it's supposed to be 40 days, I don't know why they cheated us, is it's supposed to represent the 40 days where Jesus was in the desert.
Yeah.
And so he wasn't really eating and he was tempted by Satan
Uh-huh.
and managed to resist temptation. But for us, it actually works out to 48 days from the beginning of Clean Monday or Katharo Deftera until Holy Saturday or Megalo Sabato. And it's considered religious fasting.
Okay.
Okay, so apparently you're giving up the temptations of the flesh, and the flesh, whenever anyone thinks of flesh, what comes into your head?
Like the crayon? Like the
Not the flesh color, Joe. Flesh, like meat.
Okay.
Okay, so what that is blood. So basically, we abstain from anything that comes from an animal because animals have blood,
Yeah.
and fish have blood as well. And so therefore, we're not allowed to eat fish either. In theory, if you're being really, really strict, because when we go to church, we see wine as the blood of Christ,
Yeah.
you don't have wine either. And also, wine is considered almost something that is giving into the desires of the flesh, and you're supposed to resist temptation.
Okay.
So that makes sense to you.
Yeah.
Anyway, as Greek Orthodox people, we're actually allowed to eat shrimp, lobster, octopus, prawns. So it doesn't always feel, because those are like kind of luxury goods, it doesn't always feel like you're actually being deprived when you're fasting. I mean, listen, I do feel deprived, but it doesn't necessarily feel that you're deprived. However, the reason apparently why you are allowed to eat those things is because they're considered bloodless. Okay.
Well, I mean, not actually, but
Okay, well, the interesting thing is, because I recently read up on this because I was interested myself, is I thought, but they do have some blood circulating, so why are they considered bloodless? And then I realized that what the Greek Orthodox mean when they consider blood is they consider red blood. And so those creatures, the invertebrates, basically, the shellfish that we're allowed to eat, don't have hemoglobin carrying oxygen around their body. And so therefore, they don't have red blood. They've got like other colored bloods, which is like sometimes white, sometimes light blue, sometimes it's clear. And what they actually have is they've got the fluid that circulates, just to educate you here, Joey, is called hemolymph.
okay.
Okay. And so the hemolymph carries oxygen around the body.
Thank you for the biology lesson, Mom.
Yes, I'm gonna send everyone the bill after this. And now I've taught you guys something about biology. Okay. But what I was getting to is because for me personally, although once I give up milk and eggs and all of those kind of things, I end up not eating chocolate and stuff like that.
Which is the real torture.
That's real torture, exactly, and real deprivation. But in terms of actual food, especially if you're living in Greece, there's still a lot that you can eat.
I think there's still also a lot now, like just because a lot of vegan and vegetarian options have like developed.
Yes, exactly. So being vegan,
It
and
used to be a lot harder like 10 years ago.
absolutely, and I think it still is. Harder if you're doing it in South Africa or doing it in another country where it's not the whole country that's kind of buying into this at that time of year.
Mm-hmm.
And if you remember when you and Tina were little, because especially for younger children, health wise, you don't really want them to not drink milk for 48 days, to be precise.
Yeah.
And so, what I used to tell you guys, which is a principle that I like to apply during Lent in my own life, is to adopt the Greek Orthodox kind of, take it to a point where it works for you and then add in what the Catholic people do.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you
And what do
recall,
the Catholic people
yeah,
do?
as you know, they actually give up something that they find difficult. So they give up something, for example, someone might give up social media,
Mm-hmm.
or might give up smoking, or might give up alcohol, exactly, or might give up complaining,
Or chocolate.
or chocolate, exactly. We've got to do both.
Complaining and chocolate.
But, but because of that, that's what got me thinking. So last year at this time was what helped me get over my soft drink addiction.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now for anyone out there that doesn't know me personally, I literally for years and years and years was completely addicted to soft drinks, especially diet soft drinks, because I made a diet because the quantities that I would drink them in, oh, Lord help me, if I was having that amount of sugar, I would have been diabetic hundreds of years ago and I probably would have weighed 700 kilograms because I was drinking approximately in my heyday when I got to and probably before last year, before I began to give up diet cold drinks
Yeah.
for Lent, I was probably drinking
A
6
lot.
to 7 cans.
Mm-hmm.
When you kind of calculate that, and maths is not my strong point, as you guys know, I gave the biology lesson. Biology is my strong point if anyone wants lessons.
She was a physio, not a
Yes,
mathematician.
I also do technology lessons for adults if anyone's interested. But
Where's the cutoff age for adults? Like if you're like below the age of 38, you're not allowed to join.
no, anyone's allowed to join. Anyone who isn't a child, because I think children would know a lot more than what I do.
Probably. Well, because technology is like developing all the time and they have it from young.
Exactly. Whereas, you get these older people that are in their 60s, and I just love showing people, like, look what you can do on your phone. And everyone gets all excited, and I get all excited teaching them. So, anyway, that's besides the point. I went on a tangent. Basically, even though maths is not my strong point, I more or less what I estimate is that I was drinking approximately 2.5 liters of this every single day of my life.
Which is a lot.
It's a lot.
And you used to get cranky without it.
Exactly. I would get cranky without it. And health wise, it's quite shocking to be drinking that amount of diet cold drink. So I was thinking about where it all began or how it all began that I ended up getting so addicted to these diet cold drinks.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I know why the diet. Okay, guys, you already know that because I knew that no human body can take that amount of sugar.
Uh-huh.
So I used to work in a cardiac rehab center. And this cardiac rehab center, basically, it was a center where you would help people out, put people on exercise programs that had had either a heart attack, a bypass, or was currently suffering from angina, had basically blocked blood vessels
Mm-hmm.
supplying their heart. And what we'd do is put them on an exercise program and help them almost use body's natural bypass or help them get back to themselves after actually having coronary artery bypass
Oh.
surgery.
Okay.
Okay. So I used to work at this cardiac center, but I lived in a place called Kailami Estates in South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, I was married to your dad, Joe,
Yeah.
my ex-husband, George. And
Ex-husband George.
my ex-husband George, and I've got a current husband George, just to make life simple.
Yeah.
At least if I scream George in the middle of the night, oh George, I'll never get into trouble.
Good.
I'm not going to say what George could do, but okay. Now this is a family podcast.
That's okay. I think we lost the family like 5 minutes ago.
Anyway, so now let me get back to what I was saying. I lived in Kailami. And Kailami, from where this cardiac center was, which for the South African people was based at the Civic Center, Johannesburg Civic Center in Braamfontein. For my non-South African listeners, it's basically I worked 28 kilometers away from home. So it was quite a distance.
It sounds very far.
And I had this a really, really nice job, except that what it did do, which wasn't as nice,
You had
is
to wake up probably super early to get there on time.
exactly. And because my shifts in those days, 3 days a week, was 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Okay.
So that's a 12-hour shift.
Yeah.
And, you know me and my good time management. So in order to get me there
Yeah.
by 7 a.m., in theory, at that time, I had kind of worked it out, I would have had to leave home at 6:25.
Uh-huh.
And then I would have got there at like exactly 7 a.m. on the dot. And me being me
Mm-hmm.
and being super organized, I actually would
Yeah.
leave home at around 6:40.
Uh-huh.
And then I would be like, I don't know, like I was being chased by a demon. I would be weaving between cars and speeding on the highway and stressing. And needless to say,
Mm-hmm.
there's absolutely no chance that I would have eaten breakfast by that time.
Yeah.
So what I used to do is grab from the cupboard and the fridge. As you guys know that I like my drinks ice cold, I would grab an ice cold tab in those days.
What's tab?
Okay, well, in this day and age, it would probably be equivalent of one of those Cokes that's got the gold,
Oh,
that
there's
gold
caffeine
trimming.
free.
Exactly, caffeine free and sugar free.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I would choose Tab is because Diet Coke in those days hadn't been mastered yet.
Yeah, and Diet Coke tastes different to Coke. It's got a specific taste.
Yes, it does. It's
Or
got a
and Coke Light as it was called in South Africa.
yes. I think it's improved over the years, but in the beginning it had a very, very. That's why they brought out Coke Zero,
Uh-huh.
because Coke Light had a very different taste.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that I didn't want the caffeine.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a case of this was the only diet cold drink available to me that kind of tasted like Coke.
Yeah.
And what I would do, because I think I needed the caffeine at that time to wake up,
Yeah.
but I didn't have the caffeine, I'd get the caffeine the way any self respecting person should get their caffeine, from chocolate. So I would consume this can of Tab, and I would also grab this giant chocolate bar called a Bar One.
Yeah, I miss bar ones.
I mean, Bar Ones are amazing.
Bar ones are kind of like Mars bars.
Exactly,
But
only better.
best and what is the difference? I think the one has nougat, the one.
I think they're both malted nougat kind of thing, but Bar One has got one up on Mars Bar, because on the top of the malted nougat they've got this thick layer of caramel, and then it's covered in a thick layer of chocolate. Nestle?
Mars bar also has caramel. Maybe it's the thickness that's the difference.
Yes. No, I think Bar One is one up on
Yeah,
Mars Bar.
Yeah.
Nestle, if you're looking for anyone to advertise for you, you can sponsor this podcast, no problem.
Bar one specifically.
Bar One specifically. Otherwise, Mars Bar, if you come to us, we might be able to promote your
Yeah.
product a little bit more.
We're open-minded.
Yeah. Well, funny enough, Joey,
Yeah.
one of the other things that the way they used to market
Mhm.
a Bar One chocolate bar in
They
South
said,
Africa in those
I
days.
remember how it was like that you'd have a 25-hour day.
Exactly. I can't believe you remember that.
It was like on every wrapper. You'd see it on all the ads. You're like, wow, 25 hours. Who doesn't need an extra hour in their day?
Yes.
Everyone does.
Exactly. And as Jo was telling me quite recently, because I was trying to buy her like a chocolate powder.
It's basically Milo for everyone who's in a country that does have it, which is basically it's like a malted chocolate flavored drink. So it's like hot chocolate with like a bit of je ne sais quoi. It's a little bit of oomph.
Yes, but Jo was now explaining to me that the importance is not the fact that this particular chocolate drink that you wanted to drink is malted or has anything. On the can, there's a picture always of someone doing some kind of athletic activity. They're either playing basketball or they're running, and Jo explained that's the one she wants. It's like the energetic picture.
Yeah, it makes you feel like it's like instead of a coffee, you have a Milo and it feels like you're getting energy out of it, even though like I don't think there's caffeine in it. It's just malted powder.
Yes. Well, I think that was exactly the same concept with me and the Bar One. The fact that it said a 25-hour day and I was going to work a 12-hour, that would give me another, come Jo, you can do your maths.
Maths. It's like 5 hours. No.
That would give me another 13 hours.
I didn't go to school for maths.
Okay. So.
But I never understood the 25-hour day specifically.
It was implying you can go on and on. You can go beyond 24 hours.
I don't know who can have just one Bar One and then go from like only use that for 25 hours. I'd need like 10. But
okay. I don't know if they mentioned how many Bar Ones you have.
like they had a scale or something.
I think in general, you need more than one chocolate to do anything.
Yeah.
You need quite a few.
Especially for people like us who love chocolate.
Yes, but now, Joe,
Mm-hmm.
just to get back on topic,
Yeah.
this whole thing was just to explain to you guys that on the one hand, I was doing this, and don't worry about whether I got to work on time. That's another podcast episode altogether. But what was
It's not.
happening,
Like, the answer is you didn't get to work on time. Like, a case solved.
but what actually was happening, Joe, is that I realized that while I was drinking this tab or this diet cold drink I actually felt less anxious about not getting to work on time.
Okay.
So I felt calmer, and while weaving in and out of traffic and speeding and driving like a lunatic, I actually felt quite calm doing this.
Uh-huh.
And I realized it wasn't the bar one that was doing it for me, it was the cold drink. And so I realized that for me, and this is quite weird, I don't know if anyone else out there has experienced it, but for me, it almost became the way a stressed smoker would reach for a cigarette when they're stressed or something upsets them,
Mm-hmm.
or someone who enjoys their alcohol might say, oh, I need my whiskey to calm down. I needed my diet cold drink to calm down.
Yeah.
It calmed me in every situation.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of became a little bit dependent on it, especially to reduce anxiety.
Okay.
So every time I felt anxious or stressed, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a smoker or a drinker,
Mm-hmm.
so that's what I would do. And then I realized that I don't know what ingredient it was in the cold drink, but the one thing that I really needed to calm me down were the bubbles.
I think it's your bubbly personality.
Oh, that's so sweet of you, Joe. That's why we're doing a podcast together. So I actually needed the bubbles. And so I stopped buying myself the cans, and I would frequently buy the 500 ml bottles.
Or the 2 liters.
No, not the
Oh.
2 liters, because you can't finish a whole 2 liter, and then you're going to leave it, and then the gas is going to go out, and then flat cold drink is, you may as
Out
well
of the
just,
question. Yeah.
it's completely out.
You may as well not drink it at that point, right?
That increases anxiety.
Okay.
So I would actually end up drinking these 500 ml bottles. And then over the years, and shout out to my brother-in-law, George, who had told me, being an orthodontist and a dentist before that, had kind of said to me about how bad these drinks are for you, how the best way to drink them is through a straw, or better yet, not at all. And one of the things that he kind
They
of...
stay in your teeth.
Exactly. So one of the things he had mentioned was exactly that, Joe, that they stay in your teeth. And so that's what switched me from drinking all the Cokes to Sprite Zero.
Which was like a new thing. It didn't exist when you started this.
It didn't exist.
So
But eventually, when they first tried it out, I think I must have been around and their sales just went straight up.
you were
And
the
so they
sole
realized,
person.
yes, they realized the experiment has worked really well. And I really became addicted to the Sprite Zero, because the nice thing was I could drink it straight out the bottle without worrying. I mean, I didn't even think of what the acid was doing to my teeth. That's besides the point.
Yeah.
But at least I knew it wasn't staining the teeth.
Uh-huh.
If the teeth would just crumble, they would crumble in good condition. You know, they would crumble being pearly white.
Okay.
So anyway, so I used this to calm me down, and I used to take the bottle with me. And if I couldn't finish a whole 500 ml bottle in one sitting, as in one gulp, so what I would do is then close it.
And literally, she would close these bottles so tight that she herself would have trouble opening them the next time. It was as if a machine like mechanically resealed
Yes, I would screw these lids on really,
so
really
tight.
well.
Like it was amazing that like you don't have more calluses on your hands from unscrewing these bottles
I
again.
probably have no skin left. That's why the unscrewing them took off all the skin, including the calluses. So, and there's one particular incident that I really, really remember clearly. And I'm sure everyone out there is going to actually corroborate this, because I was going to the Greek consulate.
Uh-huh.
And anybody that's had any dealings with the consulate or embassies would know how stressful this is.
Yeah. I mean, we even watched like a reel recently from an Australian comedian called Anesti Danelli.
Yes,
on
and it was
Instagram.
absolutely brilliant.
Hysterical, doing a video on how it feels like trying to get any document or anything authorized by the Greek embassy
Yes.
or the consulate. How like they'll tell you, oh no, sorry, come back when you have these forms. Oh, you have to book an appointment online. Actually, no, you have to come in person. When you come in person, sorry, no, if you didn't book an appointment on the phone, then too bad for you, go, you have to go book it this way, or oh, you came here but you didn't have this document, sorry, but you're supposed to just know to bring this document. Like,
Exactly,
and then
exactly.
the person you spoke to last time's not here, they're on leave, so you're gonna have to start the process again because I don't know what you're doing. Like,
That's exactly it, Joe. That is exactly it.
it's
And my best is you call them before you go. You search their website. I mean, in this comedian's little reel that he makes, he even says it's quite funny because he says there, listen, if anyone wants to go to our website, you'll have to create a website for us first, and then you can
then
go
you
on
can use
it.
it, yeah.
And that's
Oh, that's
exactly
funny.
how I felt. But I had tried every means possible. And I'm trying to even remember, I'm so traumatized. I don't remember if I was doing it for something of mine, Joe, or something of yours, but I remember it was really important. I was going to be traveling soon and I needed to sort this
One of us
particular.
needed it sorted,
Yes, I
yeah.
needed to sort this issue out. And I had gone to the consulate. I had actually called them in advance. I had gone to visit them, and I had someone who had written down for me every single document that I need. And lo and behold,
There was one missing.
there was one missing, one that wasn't on the list. And as you said, the guy that had written it down wasn't there at the time.
Yeah,
So
on buy, so, it's like, sorry, deal with
I'm
it.
sure they plan it. They've probably got cameras planted in there, and they kind of know that when someone walks in and they deal with one person, they make that person disappear till all those people have.
I've never, like, known any other agency or, like, any other job in the world where you can take more leave than, like, in a government job,
Yes,
like
and they probably all have caffeine poisoning. The amount of coffee they drink and the coffee breaks they take. Maybe
yeah.
I should tell them to switch to chocolate. Anyway, on one of,
Maybe they should give up coffee for Lent.
or maybe they should give up frustrating people that come in for Lent.
Oh, also very true.
But okay, so back to our story now. I remember this one occasion. So I had gone into the consulate.
Yeah.
And I'd been given the list of all the documents I needed, and I arrived with all my documents. You know how you like this time you think, now I'm prepared.
Yeah, like, they can't send you away because you have everything.
Exactly. And yet they can. They can
Yeah.
always send you away.
Yeah.
There's always one more document that you don't have with you, except this time, I don't remember what the story was, but they had said to me, we'll only be able to get this situation sorted for you if you can be back here 40 minutes. Leave, go get your document and come back 40 minutes. Otherwise, you've missed your slot. And I mean,
Okay.
that was like saying you doomed to hell for the rest of your life. So I decided I'm going to try. And I still, as I mentioned, lived in Kailami. And this Greek consulate was not exactly as far as my workplace was. So it
Yeah.
wasn't 28 kilometers away, but it was 20 kilometers away.
That's still quite far.
That's still quite far.
And
Now,
if you had
just
traffic, if it was like a weekday, which I'm assuming
exactly,
it was to get to the consulate,
exactly.
it
Of
probably,
course, they would never work on a
of
weekend.
course, yeah, why would they?
And they would never work past. I'm sure I'd taken a day off to be able to do this.
That was kind of like how I felt when I first, like, I don't know if it's the same in South Africa with banks, but in Greece, like, to try book an appointment to go to the bank, and like the bank would close at 1, and I'm thinking, but regular jobs are 9 to 5. So
Yes,
when are you supposed to go to the bank?
it's they close at 1 for people, and then they do secret work on
Yeah.
the side afterwards.
So anyway,
Secret work, and they've all got caffeine poisoning.
back to the story.
Now back to the story. I had 40 minutes to travel 20 kilometers there, find the document, and 20 kilometers back. So I was
I just think
stressed.
probably the document you have to, like, go through your files, get the document, like, it's a whole mission at that point, right?
The whole mission. And so I knew that I was going to be really stressed and weaving in and out of traffic. And the only thing to do was to open up my bottle of Sprite Zero and take a swig so that I can manage this whole
I
process.
can just imagine you taking that swig.
Oh, I would have downed the whole thing. So now I get into the car and I start driving because there's no time to waste.
Yeah.
And I
Need for
try,
speed.
need for speed, and I try and open this bottle, which, as you mentioned, Joe, I closed it as only a machine can.
It's as if she was trying to lock away government secrets so that no one could ever access them ever again. You would think that the bottle, like the stuff in this bottle, was so precious, like more
The
like
gas.
the gas was worth more than gold, worth more than diamonds, that it could never be opened again. Like, it was, you literally, like, if for me, like, sometimes you should ask me to get her a bottle, and like I would want to be polite and open.
Okay, no, hang on, Joe.
And
We've
it
had the
was,
episode about your strength.
I know, but still, like, I would, like, the trick is, like, if you can't open a bottle, you take like a rubber glove or something that's got like a grip.
Yes.
And even with that, yeah, I would struggle. So you just like, just so I can put it in perspective for you guys, how tight that these bottles were closed, and
And
not closed by the company, mind you. She was opening them, and this was Leah closing.
Leah closed a lot tighter than what the company
Yeah,
could close.
honestly, Leah could have been hired in the factory.
And the thing was, I didn't actually have any rubber glove or anything with
No,
me in the car. I mean, that would have been obscene.
this is why it was so impressive, and why Leah should have been hired, like by the factories themselves.
I should have actually. Now, anyone out there that wants to hire me, I can close your bottles. So what I did is I tried. I really, really tried. At this point, I was getting like these track marks on my arms, on my hands from trying to open this bottle, and I just couldn't. And I was so stressed. I was desperate to actually take a swig. I'm calling it a swig like it's alcohol because that's how I
like
felt.
a pirate.
Like a pirate, exactly, of this. And so I was getting to a point where I could feel desperation creeping in and anxiety. And so I ended up stopped at a red traffic light
Or
and
robot. I love. Sorry, I can't like not say
yes,
robot.
or a robot for all your South Africans. And I desperately was looking around. I think I was looking for the rubber glove. I was looking for something to help me, and there was nothing. And I looked around, and next to me, stopped at the same traffic light,
yeah.
was a man and his daughter. And the daughter was wearing school uniform. Like in my mind, potentially she had been sick because it was still within normal school hours. 'Cause the
Yeah.
consulate would never function after school.
Yeah.
And so I thought, okay, maybe he's picking her up for something. I was like, I had this whole quick scenario in my head, and I thought, there's only one thing I can do. I've got to motion to these people because he's a man, and what I can do is possibly while we're at this red robot, what I'll do is roll down my window. Now remember, obviously, he's driving, so he was one person away from me. It was me, and next to my window would have been
Yeah.
his daughter.
Yeah.
And they weren't that close to my car.
No, because like realistically.
Yes, we were all
In
staying in
different
our we were all
lanes.
staying in our lanes, and
Yeah.
this is for George. George, I am capable of staying in my lane. So I was in my lane as I should have been, and I rolled down my window and made this weird motion and hooted, I don't remember, and got their attention. And so the
They're probably thinking
girl
this mad woman.
rolls down her window and looks at me, and I said, "Excuse me, can you please give this?" I assumed it was her dad. I hand her my bottle and said, "Can you please give this to your dad and ask him to open it for me?"
My word.
I think the poor girl was too shocked to even react. She just almost mechanically hands it to her
My
dad.
word.
And now I'm watching this man in desperation because I really want him to open my Sprite Zero. And I see him, and you know when someone's putting in effort and they go red in the face because they're really straining. And I
Yeah.
can see this man really, really straining.
See, Mom, even a strong person was struggling.
He was struggling. And I thought, like,
It's not just me. I'm
I
not
mean,
just
I was
'cause I'm
looking at this
weak.
guy kind of thinking, please hurry up. I mean, I appreciate the help, but please hurry up. And while we were waiting on this man, he was going red in the face, and you could see this, obviously the lid wasn't budging. The
Mhm.
robot changes color, and it's now green, and it's time to go. So he drives off with my Sprite Zero in his car. Now I'm beyond desperate and thinking, what do I do? And this poor man, I mean, I ended up stopped at the next traffic light where I thought by this point I'm going to have a full on nervous breakdown. Now there's no hope of getting my Sprite because it's in someone else's car. And
It's literally in someone else's hands.
the poor man weaved in and out of traffic to actually get to stop again at the same place where we had stopped. And he had loosened it. He had actually managed to loosen it. And he handed it back to his child, to the poor child at this point. I have visions of what they told their mom when they got home.
I
Like,
can just imagine the conversation in the car. Be like, what is happening right now?
and like her saying, "Dad, do you know this woman?" He's saying, "No, I've never seen her in my life before."
I don't know if I want to see her again after this. This
I
is
can
crazy.
imagine her telling the story to her mom, and the mom saying, "Who was that woman?" And him saying, "No, I swear I've never seen her." And she's saying, "There's no way anyone's going to hand you a cold drink if they've
Yeah.
never met you."
Imagine if like they somehow are able to listen to this podcast.
Oh, that would be so
That would
funny.
be very
I
funny.
still thank that man.
Yeah, if you're, long shot, but if you are listening,
Yeah, he handed me, he through the daughter. He then, and you must know, guys, because we were all keeping in our lanes, it wasn't just a case of I stretch out my arm. It was kind of you put on your handbrake and you lean your
Yeah.
body out in a move that would make my Pilates instructor really proud. But you lean your body out and work those side abs, collect the
wow.
Sprite Zero. And so,
What like the fact that you got the Sprite Zero back,
I know. I mean, people are
incredible.
just, listen, I don't know that I would have weaved in and out of traffic. I might have thought,
If yeah.
too bad, so
If
sad.
I was next to you driving and you didn't know me, first of all, you probably wouldn't have asked me because you'd take one look at me and think
Yes,
she's
you
not the
don't
one.
look like the strong, silent type.
But second of all, I don't think I would like risk it, like to like drive to be next to you again. I'd be like, okay, I guess I've got a Sprite Zero now. Like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, and thinking about it now,
Because
Joe.
no one else would know how you're feeling about it. They just think you want to
Yes.
drink.
And I mean, like thinking about it now, it'd be like in this day and age, like now that can kind of think rationally, I think like, what if he took a sip of it? Ew, I don't want to drink that Sprite Zero, but I thought none of that. The guy could have had a sip. He could have had half the bottle.
And
I
it's
was
like,
in such a state
yeah,
caused by the Greek consulate.
yeah. Honestly, yeah.
Yeah,
Very funny.
the poor man. All I hope for him is that he's not divorced, that his wife didn't like leave him that day and say, "You're having an affair." I know for sure. There is no way.
I think you're very lucky though. This is also one of the reasons why I love having a podcast with you because you have these encounters with people. Like some of them are caused by you. Like you encounter them. Like they're not just like you know what I mean? Like
Yes.
you put yourself in like the way to be
Yeah, a lot of
encountered.
them are caused by me. I
But
put
like
myself in real
it's
ways.
very like you meet a lot of like I would say
Interesting
interesting
people.
people, good people, like people are helpful
Yes, yes.
in a way that you wouldn't expect and for like over very random things. And it's
Yes, I must admit, so many times, human beings out there just keep reinforcing my faith in humanity. And I realize there's so many decent. I mean, the fact that this guy did this, he's unbelievably decent.
Mhm.
He literally could have just tossed it out his window or thrown it in the next bin when he had seen it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And yet he took the effort, and trust me, it was effort. He was going so red in the face. I was worried that what if this man has a stroke? Where's he going to drive his daughter? What if she's on the way to the
Poor
doctor? And
guy.
yes. So it was, I mean, I must admit, such fun. And I did get my Sprite Zero. And just to finish the story on a positive note, I managed to get back to the Greek consulate on time. I don't
Now
know how I
that's
did
that's
it.
a miracle in and of itself, right? 'Cause
Yes. I just like don't remember thereafter if there was one more document, but
you know what? On it, probably there was.
yes.
Knowing the way the consulates work, like I think it's like not even just consulates. It's like the government. I don't know what they're called in other countries, like the Home Affairs,
It's consulates, it's embassies in Greece they do it
government
at the police
yeah,
station.
government agencies. I would say, like
Yes.
you know, there's always something.
Yes.
It's never straightforward, and you're always missing something, and you always did the steps wrong according to them because
Yes.
something has changed, and there was no announcement of the change. And
No,
it's just
exactly. Or you did something horrendous like smile in a picture. And recently, Joe, a friend of mine is actually saying that in Greece, she has a friend of hers. So a friend of a friend has been trying to renew a South African passport
yeah.
in Greece.
Hmm.
And apparently they have been waiting so far for 18 months.
That's crazy.
And I don't know whose fault it is. Is it the South Africans' fault? Is it the Greek? You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
it's generally very, very
Yeah, I
stressful.
think you know what, it's the one global experience like that unites us all. I don't think it's unique to one country. I
I
think
guess you're
everyone
right.
has it.
I guess you're right. I guess you're
So
right.
at least you can
They
be
kind of interview people before you go into one of these departments and say, like, listen,
the job interview is like,
how many people have you frustrated in your life? If you've only frustrated one or two, out.
yeah, no, we don't want you.
Yeah, exactly.
So on that note, are there any lessons to be learned from this story?
Okay, firstly, as we said, human beings are
There's a
generally
lot of
good.
good in the world.
There are a lot of decent human beings out there. I'm really, really grateful to that guy. I really hope your marriage is strong, and I hope your daughter is doing really well. I hope her health and your health are fine. I hope I didn't cause you any aneurysms or anything like that. And I really appreciate you. You have no idea how you saved me on that day.
Oh, that was a fun story. Whenever you tell it, it's so funny to me because it's so like out there in terms of who hands off a bottle of a cold
Okay,
drink
let's
to
not keep harping on this. Like, you know what I'm saying?
no,
Okay.
but who does it, guys? I bet you that none of your parents have ever done that in their lives. I know no one. I've never met anyone else who has like even the thought to do such. Like
I
it's
think I had a thought. I
crazy.
think I was so stressed.
And I think
I was functioning. This was survival mode.
no, and I think I'm allowed to like go hop on and on about it since I had a whole podcast episode where I wasn't even there and all you guys could talk about was like, oh, Joe's weak and Joe's
I know. So you
strong.
shouldn't be really featuring in this one because we needed someone strong for this one.
Oh,
Someone
sorry,
with like
Tina's in London. There's nothing you can
someone
do.
with big, strong arms. Anyway, I'm really, really grateful again for the podcast, Joe.
I'm grateful for it too.
And I'm really grateful for our listeners out there. and for all the decent human beings. And also, I'm grateful, guys, that I've finally managed to overcome this addiction.
Yeah.
Because I was definitely addicted, as you could hear.
And to bring it back, because it was all because of fasting for Easter.
Exactly.
So we hope that you guys have a good,
good period of Lent. Have a kalisa rakoti.
For those who observe it.
And yes, and I hope I usually try at this time period to kind of, through the fasting and giving up something that's meaningful for me, kind of like on the side, ask God for like a little bit of a favor. Like, since I'm doing this, maybe you wouldn't mind doing something for me, and maybe everyone else can also ask him for something, and he can do favors for all of us.
And on that note,
thanks again, guys, for listening. We really appreciate. Please, if you are enjoying our podcast, remember to subscribe on Spotify or Apple Music. And for my technology elders, it doesn't cost a cent. And if you subscribe, you'll get reminders of every time a new episode is out.
Yes, and also follow us on Instagram, and we're going to make a Facebook account soon. So you'll know all the updates on our Instagram, because that's where we post updates for every week, each episode, etc., etc. And we hope you enjoyed this episode. And thanks for listening, and we'll see you guys next week.
See you guys. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.